the river in a kayak.
Yeah, which he shouldn't be doing because it's the river that's inside the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And so he has to like duck under Hoover Dam and like meet some little crazy
Boy,
razzers on the way
never been on a kayak before.
and not a strong swimmer. Remember he talks about that earlier. He's like, I'm not a very good swimmer. Yeah.
One, two, three, four.
Hi, I'm Cade,
And I'm Kit
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
And this week we are doing a new theme,
Yeah, survival.
survival, and obviously our stories that stick.
Which is us looking at cinema through the perspective of what are the movies that have stuck with us so that we um, can break it down and know better ourselves as we interpret it and critique other people's movies. This week was my choice.
Your choice, yeah. That
Which
we get to start every new theme with. And what did you pick?
Into the Wild,
Okay.
which I was so excited to share this movie with you. Canadian perspective film. And I love this movie. I didn't realize it was quite as long as it is.
Yes, it is 147 minutes.
I'm yet to pick the short film. I don't think.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll discuss this one. I think this one,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, the reason why it was my
Yeah.
choice,
Why did you choose that?
it's a little bit on the nose, but because it's literally about a young man surviving in the wilderness and surviving on a journey where he has self isolated himself because he has questioned his perspective on who he is in the world outside of doing the things that he has to do for his parents, his sister, and kind of other people, and kind of bucking the system of expectations. And he does really well. He's great in school, accepted at Harvard, all these things. And so he's taking some time where he wanted to get in his little beater car and go on an adventure by himself and kind of see what he's made of. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so like let's break that down because obviously that's kind of the first part of the movie, and then the other 130 minutes of this movie is about him being by himself,
Mhm.
kind of learning and growing after school. So
Mm,
once that happens, obviously he hits the road, he tears up all his IDs, he burns his money,
yeah.
um,
Gives himself an alias.
gives himself an alias, and he just has one goal. He wants to go to Alaska.
Mhm.
Um,
That's the ultimate survival to him, like ultimate isolation, ultimate
yeah,
like him in the wild surviving, and could he do it?
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, and along the way, obviously, then he meets this couple, um, which is also cool in that aspect because um, they help him, he helps them,
Mhm.
and then he has like this like great moment, but it wasn't in his plan, so then he up and leaves
Mhm.
and kind of carries on his way, which I thought was an interesting take on that.
Yeah.
Obviously later in the movie, he wraps back around and he sees them again, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, which I would say also too, it's interesting because the movie does all of these things, but actually it's quite fast.
Mm.
You know what I mean? In terms of like length of time that he's away.
Yeah.
He does so many things, like he floats down the river in a kayak.
Yeah, which he shouldn't be doing because it's the river that's inside the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And so he has to like duck under Hoover Dam and like meet some little crazy
Boy,
razzers on the way
never been on a kayak before.
and not a strong swimmer. Remember he talks about that earlier. He's like, I'm not a very good swimmer. Yeah. But he doesn't want to be on a wait list to do that adventure. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so then he like
Mm-hmm.
does that as well as I think this movie, watching it, other than the nods to you always picking movies about someone in Texas, a boy in Texas, or these sorts of things that relate to me not being a strong swimmer.
Been manifesting you for years. I did it.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting in the sense that, like, obviously he's questioning everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, well, I don't have time to wait for this list because I need to do it now, and he just does it.
Mm-hmm.
And he does do it,
Yeah.
which I think, is something that and what you've taught me, at least in the midst of it, is like, why do we always have to do it the way that it's always been done?
Yeah.
And, helps us think creatively outside of that.
Yeah. I also think that authority is a gray subject matter, and that's obviously depicted throughout this movie. Like, he has to get back into the country after ending up in Mexico without a passport or
Yeah.
on a vacation.
Yeah, he floats all the way down the river, ends up in Mexico,
Mhm.
and they're like, "No, sir."
He's like, well, this is how I got in, but I'm ready to go back, and I don't have ID, and yeah, just really, but it's like friendly, and that a lot of like, I feel like it's been my experience that a lot of authority is quite gray if you're quite honest on it, where your
Mhm.
perspective and what happened and why you're doing what you're doing. And I think that also people are really attracted to people who love adventure. And yeah, I think there's a lot of parts of this movie I really related to. I also, after college, like went traveling and was very like, yeah, same thing. Like, he went and worked with like combines on that, like made some really great friends, and was like kind of working with like wheat or something. I don't know what it was.
Yep.
Some type of field he was working on. Loved the boss, even though the boss was kind of shady, and but just loved that he was honest and encouraging him. And the boss gets arrested. He gets his check. He keeps going. He's like working at like a fast food place for a bit to get like the next little part of the journey. And I remember, traveling Europe, and I was doing a lot of similar like things. Like, I would work in this little space to get me to the next island or to the next thing, in between other gigs that I was working in. And it was, fabulous and wonderful, but I think a lot of it was because, and lots of it was not allowed, right? Like, it was people
Mhm.
helping me, but again, that authority of like, well, she's just trying to get degrees. They're like, she's just trying to go on this adventure, and I think people like to support, like, young
That
people on their self-discovery journeys, and I love that about this movie, and I think a lot of people can relate to, needing time by themselves to without their friends, family, or their normalcy of their suburban life or however they
Mhm.
grew up, to kind of figure out what matters to them and what does happiness mean, which is like a big part of what his journey is like, what is happiness and what does happiness mean? And he
Yeah.
feels like he has to be void of everything that he's ever known to really understand that. Just really interesting. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so from those scenes, obviously, then there's the train and the love story, and then he finally makes it into the wild.
He does, until Alaska, and he finds a bus. And just so you guys know, this movie is based on a true story of the adventure of a guy who wrote a journal on this and his adventures. And he, um, in the season that he goes into the wild, he's able to cross over to this area where there's a bus, and he's able to hunt and find food and berries and those types of things. And then it starts to get scarce, and as it's getting scarce that he is having trouble kind of providing for his body, he has the same at the same time, he has this realization of, truly have happiness, the experience has to be shared. So he has this
Yeah.
beautiful enlightened moment, and he goes to try to walk back, but it is impossible to cross the river. There is no way back, and he is trapped. And because of that, and of being so isolated and making sure that nobody knew where he was along the way, even with multiple nudges from people who he liked and trusted, being like, "Does your mom know where you are? Like,
Yeah.
does family know where?" Like, does even one person? And some of this movie is narrated through the perspective of the sister, which they're quite close, and, um, and he's just like, "Listen, I just have to be in this alias and
Mhm.
kinda do this journey on my own. This is a for me thing, it's not a for them thing," but because of that, he is very much trapped, and then near the end, he's so lean, and the actor actually went through this, experience. It's not a CGI'd body. He went through that experience to make emaciate his body to that point, and then a bear walks by him, and he's so skinny that it's of no interest to the bear. It's such a powerful depiction of, like, when you are losing at the battle of survival. Even though he hit the enlightenment he was looking for, physically he was losing. And then ultimately through a little bit of lack of knowledge and a little bit of hurrying, he poisons himself and ultimately passes away. So he doesn't actually survive the survival movie. And that's a true story. There's a
Again, another pick from Kit.
that is, yeah.
Love triangle. They didn't survive.
Mhm. Yeah.
Survive.
Does it start? Well, good versus evil, a lot of, yeah. Well, I think that when you're looking at survival, which, it's the theme, right?
Hmm.
The theme wasn't who has survived something intense, right? The theme was survival, and this is somebody who decided to isolate and really put that to the test, which is why this so like
Yeah.
stuck with me. It's my story that stuck when it came to thinking about this. And I think for me, I so related to this character on looking objectively at what your abilities and what you're capable of and kind of being brave. And if you're brave and you start moving, that a lot of times people will come on the journey with you and open up doors for you. That has so been an experience for me that, you'll look at how things should be done. That sentence is so uncomfortable for me. Well, the way that you should do things like this. And I'm like, okay, but what is the result of that?
Hmm.
If you want that result, amazing. Seek mentorship, go after that. Like, listen to the people who have gone before you and go down that journey. But if the people that are telling you the way that things should be done is this, and this, and you're looking at the fruit on the tree in those areas, I think that it's important that we kind of have that bravery inside or curiosity to explore what happens if you just go now and try it
Just
anyway,
do it.
even if you're underprepared. And even though in the story it's kind of a sadder ending, what I respect about this person's journey is that they're really looking for an answer that they ultimately did find,
Hmm.
And so
And what was that? I mean, at least the main theme, obviously, the
mhm,
world should be shared.
mhm, for like true happiness.
True happiness is shared.
Yeah.
And I think that oddly enough, the looking back on that movie throughout, like the points that did stick out that they took more time to go in more detail with was
Mhm.
with other people
Yeah.
on his journey.
Yeah.
The a big part that we didn't talk about as well as the man got an Academy Award nominee
Hmm.
for his take was the older gentleman that sat in his house
Yeah.
and he basically gave up because he was like, I just have this to do rather than going out into the world to try or travel or do those things. And here's this young boy
Hmm.
doing the complete opposite and like
How that.
inspiring him and how they interacted with each other. And I do remember that like car scene for sure is very iconic where he's just like, hey, and he's like, we'll talk about that when I get back.
Yeah. He's like, I want to, yeah, like be here I want to be a safe haven for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of like if you look at the things that really inspire you and what really motivates you, for me, like the things that really, I guess, inspire the way that I go after companies, life, different kind of goals that I've been able to hit and the metrics that I've measured things against, a lot of times it was really abstract. Like when you read about like a business or a person that is inspiring, often it is like somewhere where they're like, everybody told me it had to go this way, but I couldn't, I didn't have an in that way, or I didn't know how to seek after that perspective. So we just started with this idea, or we just started with this concept, or I just tried this other thing. And look, now I own this, multi-billion-dollar company or whatever it is.
For sure.
And so what I liked about the film was that this person felt that they couldn't chase after their life in full unless they fully understood what it was to be void of those expectations. And I feel like when you're wanting to make, or he fully understands and knows that he has the intelligence
Yeah.
and the looks and the this and that to go after things as expected. And he's so like, that's easy.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure that I understand what it's like for things to not come easy because this is
Right.
going
So he, like,
way.
cuts up his license,
Yeah,
burns his money in the beginning,
it's new name.
new name, as well as I think, like,
Hmm.
to add on to that is, obviously he wanted to go to Alaska, but then it ended up in Mexico.
Right.
So, like, kind of going with the way things flow and come at him.
Mhm.
Like, even, like, the train scene where he's, like, pulled off in the middle of nowhere and, like, beat up for being on the train as a hobo,
Yeah.
like, wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, like, you kinda have to pivot and kinda go through those things, but at least the most of the effort is actually trying
Hmm.
and going, and then you figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I when I think of the theme survival too, I think of, yeah, like surviving life. Like, how do we, as individuals, like, well, for me, like, how do we survive life? And
Then you die.
then you die.
I see the metaphor here. Okay.
But I like, well, it's in contrast to your film, which we'll review next, but where it was so to it's more of survival of an instance, right?
Yes.
Where I think that when I think of survival as like this person, like typical American, typical Canadian,
Mm,
exploring the world, again, like relating to that, I felt like I had to leave like North America to really understand like what I was going to embark on for what mattered to me in life. And so yeah, so I think that's why it was what stuck out to me, is that I felt like I had to isolate from that experience to see what the world was like and whatever that looked like for me, to go after life properly or more rounded. And so that when I'm surviving something or going through something, and how we live our day to day, that I felt like I had a good perspective on that, like a bigger perspective. So
okay.
that was my.
Yeah, no, I see it more so now. Yeah, okay. Very art housey, but I'm here for it
I didn't know.
as well. We didn't know until we're recapping this movie. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
think
like that.
so.
I like the
Mhm.
yeah, the reference there as far as like everybody's trying to uh figure out the meaning of life.
Mhm.
And then once you figure it hopefully you figure it out, maybe you don't,
Mhm.
because there's examples of that along the way that he runs into.
Yeah.
And then you die.
And then you find the path that most connects to you, and then hopefully you get to stick to it, and then that's it.
Yeah. I mean, even in this one, like we wanted to, we were so hoping that he would get out, and like I remember, like, he's gonna do it. Someone's gonna come. He's gonna figure out a way.
Yep.
He's been resourceful up until this point. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna have that ending in which
Mhm.
we want.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. I mean, like, oddly enough, this is the story of someone's real life
Mhm.
with it,
Yeah.
um, which makes it even more poetic.
Yeah.
And, I think, yeah, definitely a director's dream in terms of like
Sharing something with the world.
sharing something with the world, you
Mhm.
know, realizing, the the contrast of figuring it out, being completely isolated, and then you can't get out of that situation, even though happiness is sharing it with the others.
It's devastating.
Yeah,
It's very heartbreaking.
wild.
I love it. Into the Wild.
It's
Yeah.
so wild.
Do you remember what you rated it?
I rated this movie a 7.
Mhm.
Really great movie.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have that length of time to sit down and watch it on a normal weeknight.
Yeah, I would give it a 7 for the same reason.
Yeah.
I think I think cinematically you can understand why they took the stretch of time that they did to really so you feel like his aloneness throughout things, but I think they could
Mhm.
have gotten there in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting just in the sense of how they did take the time. I mean, it is very artsy in the terms of, like, you can see why they took their time to tell all of these kind of side stories or side events, when realistically a lot of the movie is him in the wild by himself in isolation. But I think if you think about the movie in reverse,
Mhm.
there's nods of happiness along the way
Yeah.
where he could have stayed
Yeah.
and been happy,
Mm-hmm.
but he decided to keep going.
Yeah.
So,
He was fixated on that place and that experience for sure.
which is kind of the reverse as far as what we said earlier, as far as just, just doing it, just starting it and just going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go too far
Mm-hmm.
and then it is too far.
Yeah, it's true. Or it's the conversation of like his enlightened experience, like it was trying to be shown to him before he
Mm.
went there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting kind of take on.
Mm-hmm.
Very artsy. Artsy fartsy.
Well, as a
I mean, I
parent,
liked
though.
it. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I had never seen the movie. It was, yeah, very good. I
Mm-hmm.
think like tying it together, like even in the wild, like the belt
Mm,
that he kept adjusting as you saw him lose the weight was from the man helped him make it earlier in the movie. So like it was very cohesive, a great kind of story,
yeah.
obviously a true story. Love that.
Yeah.
In a sense of like telling someone's story.
Yeah.
Best stories are real life.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Yeah. I
yeah,
think it.
did good.
Thanks. I mean, true to form. I do keep it a little darker, but I think it is. I think if you've never seen it, like you are missing out. I think that it's an important film. I think that it shares something that's really
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and I like the conversations that come out of films like that. And
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
it is definitely worth a watch for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have some time.
Yep.
Watch it once,
Yeah.
but it will stick with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are watching via broadcast channel, stay tuned for the next episode where we'll go over Cade's pick. And of course, you can find us on everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple and Spotify. And we're also on social media.
Yes, at Cade and Kit.
Mm-hmm. See you.
Bye, guys.
Wanna